Hello, welcome everyone. It's Jewin of GW Pro. Alright, it's weekend and I want to be sharing with you setups I have for next week and how I intend to approach the next trading week as a whole. Today is the 19th of September 2021 and I'm doing this analysis. Okay, first, last week we had a very wonderful week. Okay, we had a massive, wonderful week because if you look at my pre-market analysis, which I made for this week, okay, which we actually finished. Okay, so I spoke about it that what I want to do was to look for possibilities to only long USD pace and also sell anything against the USD. So I was looking at USD actually gaining more in the week. Okay, so we saw also that playing out well so nicely. If you are not sure of what that analysis said, okay, so you can actually go back to my previous video on the pre-market session, okay, and take a look at it and how we intended to approach the trading week, and we did just that. Okay, so this week and also the week ahead, we're looking at from the 19th, okay, to the 24th, okay, of September. We're looking at doing market to a pre-market analysis for that period. Okay, so we'll go straight into starting with the USD JPY. Remember in that analysis, also market recap that was on Tuesday, I spoke about that for market to come back into this territory, okay, if market can actually rise early, okay, so we look at the drop and you can see nicely that price actually came into this territory right here before then making the run. Okay, so let me just quickly take you back in time and show you how this whole thing started and what I think the market is actually doing right now, okay, and when is the best opportunity or when is the best time to actually come into the trade. Okay, so when do you intend to come into this trade and what's actually happening right now. So what is actually happening right now in the market and what I'm seeing right now in the market because of the charts presented to me right now. Okay, so I spoke about this in my last week. I talked about price having to move in this form. Okay, so I asked a lot of questions, what is this? And then I also realized that here, which market actually dropped here, is actually the 61.8 pip of this impulse. So this is a correction. So whatever this was, okay, is yet to be taken out as the first impulse here. So this is actually a corrective wave. As you can see, that price did fall down, but couldn't just take out this point here. So unless we can see price having to come in here and then show some more weakness again, then and only then can we look for short opportunities back into the second leg. But as of speaking now, looking at how we are faring with the USD, okay, looking at how we're faring with the USD, the only thing I want to be doing right now is to wait for possibilities. Okay, so if price can actually come back here to retrade, but I think this is huge after price having to contract for a whole of 2 weeks back. Okay, so last week was more of contracting. I think after a breakout here on Thursday. Okay, so we're looking at possible continuation of this trend possibly, but whatever can take price here in a hurry, get pricing in a hurry for price to form a new high, I will be looking for opportunity for price to form back into this zone. Okay, so I'm looking at price dropping back into this zone. Also, I spoke about this in one of my sessions that I want to see GBP USD actually make a run for the money also to the upside in the nearest future. Okay, so we'll look at that analysis much later because that was done on a live session. Okay, I have to make a recording of that analysis and also drop it here on my YouTube channel as well so that everyone can also get advantage of going through it. All right, so we'll go back to our chart and then let's see. So this, speaking of the USD index, okay, so the USD LFX is actually the index offered by Light Forex to actually give you an idea of what, compared to other currencies, what the USD is actually doing. So I read more of this and I use more of this to say much of it in my analysis. All right, so we go back to what we're looking at the USD/JPY. So what we intend to do overall for the USD/JPY, I'm actually still more bullish on the USD/JPY when it comes to this one, because looking at here, the line chart, I think I think here, in my opinion here, okay, looking at this, this is a very strong cool impulse here, right here after this drop here. So this, but I think this is too noisy. Okay, I think this is too noisy, this is too scanty, if you ask me. From my experience as a trader, okay, for the last 4 years, I would say this is very scanty, because looking at this one alone, I think this drop here, let me just go back to the line chart there, so you guys can actually get a clear look at it. Okay, so this is actually a line chart, what it looks like here, and you can see this small weak kind of movement right here. I think price can actually make this happen. The whole possibility that price can make that happen. So we need to be very careful how we approach this, and also take caution as to wait for price to develop into new setup, so you can actually plan this properly. But I think for me to look at going into a long trade or taking another trading decision with this one here, I think I need to wait for price to actually take out that structure there, else we can see price having to could actually be falling back one more time, where it actually came from, and that would not be awesome if you're looking for a long trade from here. So I think best interest to look for trades at key environment. Okay, so areas where the smart money are actually taking those trades, like last week waiting for smart money entry here, okay, and that was cool. So we're out from this point here. That was our concern. Okay, here, right here alone, we got in the trade here, we got out here. So that was my real concern, and I wasn't concerned about the other move to upside. So I will also wait for more price actions to develop before I can come into taking a trade with this one. All right, so we move into some other pair. Okay, so the next one I'm diving into is the Euro USD. What is happening with the Euro USD is one, I have received series of questions, okay, from members of the group, and also from people about. Okay, so looking at the Euro USD, what I think is happening with Euro USD at the moment. Okay, so price having been able to take out this here, I think there could also be further drops when it comes to the Euro USD back into this zone here, because here we look at a very strong drop right here, one here. So this could actually be a small correction here, which should have come in as a breakout. Okay, but rather we are seeing more of short trade, price actually going down. So possibly from this high having formed this low, this correction, so it could actually still be on its way into taking out everything in the market back to 1.3 before making the next one back into this zone. Okay, so that could also be a possibility. Also remember that trading involves a lot of risk, and this is actually not a session where I'm actually giving financial advice. Okay, this is actually a personal opinion, right? So always remember that previous performance is not actually a guarantee of future results. Trade goes with only the money you can afford to lose. All right, so with that said, let's go down to a much lower time frame. All right, so we'll see last week also what happened the whole of last week. We've seen price actually trading down the whole of last week, more of making corrective waves right here, right, and then dropping down, corrective waves dropping down. So more of we are in a drop that's massive. One of the things I'll be looking to do is look for opportunities to also short here, and looking at here, I think this could actually be a good area if price actually could also come in here to give me a valid entry, either a contraction here, and then I could look at another drop. Right, so that's what I'm going to be doing for the whole of next week. So just I'm looking for short opportunities, okay, for this one. But nevertheless, I could be looking at a pullback. So pullbacks are actually also could also be in play. So we just move this here, and we'll just adjust our channel a little bit, because first we're looking at this channel. Okay, next we're looking at this one right around here, so right here. So we have that if that price have come into testing the support of that channel right there, and as you can see next that this is actually whenever price comes into bounce once, bounce twice, bounce the first time. So we could be waiting for a retracement back into this territory, okay, right around here, or such as price can actually come in and touch or test the upper part of the trend line, or yeah, the trend line here, because it's actually a channel right here. So we price can actually come in here, and then we can look for short opportunities also to continue that with this also taking into consideration. So anything that could take price back into this area, I think that would be the best time to actually short again into the downside. All right, so with that said, let's move to the next one here, which I'm looking at the NZD-USD. NZD-USD actually looked a lot last week, having been able to reject a lot of things that actually was thrown at it. Okay, so a lot of things were thrown at NZD, but NZD actually stayed strong, having respected this area once, respected the area twice, right before then the drop to the downside. Okay, so let's just zoom in a little bit, and then let's see what actually went on there the whole of last week. Okay, the drop last week, we had that price actually came breaking a very important area there. You can see how important this area was. It was a very cool support right there. My market broke out, came into retest this area, then dropped to the downside. Okay, so if there could be business coming in for the USD, we can see price actually coming in back at the retest into the structure here before dropping down. But personally, I want to see a more hurried drop later in the week, okay, for price to actually come into this area before we can look for buy opportunity right there. All right, so what are we looking at next? We move into the USD CAD. USD CAD was one of the pays we actually traded a lot last week. We traded it multiple times, okay, last week, and we make cool tips from it. Okay, as you can see right here that we actually personally, okay, I took two trades from this one, okay, because I took this one, okay, and also hopped off with this one. I took this one again because when I looked at price actually dropping down, came back here, I looked at a contraction right around here. So price having broken out of this one, I spoke about this in my pre-session analysis, so you can go back and check the video. And I spoke about it. I gave various reasons why I want to only look for buy opportunities somewhere near this point in my previous video during the pre-session, so you can look at it. And then this was also nice, and I want to see price come into testing this zone one more time. As you can see nicely, price is actually coming in here, and we are yet to hit our take profit, because my take profit actually just few pips away here, but I trust that price is going to hit that once the market opens. Okay, so that's no problem for me. So once that is hit, okay, so once that is hit, what I'll be looking to do is to move to the next region. Remember, I also said the next region is going to be this point here, which is the width E. So next region is going to be that point there, but I think here is okay for me. When I leave this region here, I'll be waiting for the width E to shut down. Okay, so I will not be taking more long positions. Anything above this territory here, this whole territory for me will be blank. I'm only waiting for short positions whenever price comes up here to short at the high, okay, back into the zone. Also similar to what I did here. Whenever price was able to break this point, I only did not long anymore. Rather, I was waiting for price to actually make few pips up here so I can start looking for short opportunities. And you can see that was cool for me. That was how I made a very whooping 300 pips. Okay, so that was cool for me. So next we look at another pay, which the GBP USD. Alright, so the GBP looks quite different. Okay, so if you're actually new to this channel, I recommend that you subscribe to this channel and also turn on the notification bell so that you'll be receiving information whenever I post content such as this one. Alright, so let me just take a walk with you guys and show you what is actually happening right here. Alright, so the daily candle doesn't look quite clean, but this looks better. Okay, so what's happening here is we have a leading structure right here. A leading structure right here is actually what is happening right here in the market, having pushed up here. Okay, here is actually the leading structure here, which is the A. We have the B, we have right here the C, we have the D, and we have the E. So by rule of the leading structure here, what we are going to be doing Fibonacci retracement of that impulse. Okay, so that impulse Fib will come right here, and we can start looking for entries around the sweet spot, which is 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level of that impulse. So I'll be doing a video on how you can identify. One, you can identify the start of a leading diagonal leading structure rather than it being an ending one. Okay, so I'm doing a video on that one, so also assist traders on how to identify their structures easily in the market. So phenomenal structures, when you get this right, you're good to go. All right, so let me make reference to this one here, and it was also a similar structure here back here, how I looked at it. Similar structure also right here. So what is actually happening in the market, we had this similar structure as a lead, okay, here right around here. This actually made more sense as a lead because here was wrong. So this lead here, market moved up here, so this is actually the A, B, C, D, and this is the E leg. So what is happening right here in the market is market is actually starting right from here to make this correction here. So definitely market is going to come down, but that's notwithstanding, get the understanding, guys. Get the understanding, guys. Price has certain rights, certain privileges to do certain things, okay, in certain ways. So you never should underestimate what the market can do at any point in time. All right, so never underestimate the market, because definitely the market has a lot in stock to actually display to you. And definitely when trading, remember that you're trading with real money, not demo accounts. Okay, so I don't play with my money because I work hard to earn it, and also I earn it the hard way. So I don't play with it when I'm actually trading or taking any trade. Okay, so here what is happening here, if this is actually leading, okay, if this whole scenario here is actually leading here, I think in the interest of all the traders, I best wait for an opportunity in here, be it as an inverted head and shoulder, be it as a small channel right here, something of this nature, and a breakout. Okay, so be it something of that nature and a breakout. Any structure that will be cool for me, I think I'll have to wait somewhere around here. It's also a leg which I will also be waiting to see how price is going to actually fare instead of that territory. So best interest, wait around the zone. Okay, so we look at what Fib levels are there. So Fib levels here. Okay, so we take the Fibonacci retracement, and you can see nicely that 61 just up here, and 71.8 is just way below here. Okay, so we just have I like to take different Fib levels, okay, for me, because it makes the most sense. Okay, I don't use the custom settings there. I tweak mine a little bit with respect to some pace. Okay, so next we look at what's happening with the AUD. Okay, so AUD actually got us a lot of people last week as well, and this is also one we took nicely. Okay, so if you're following last week, I talked about the AUD seriously. Okay, in my pre-market analysis, I talked about price having correct 3 bars during the market update, dropping, correcting again, drop. So this was also where we got into the next trade. We got into trade right at the peak here. So those were cool. Those were awesome. So next, what would you want to do with the AUD? As you can see nicely, is actually running here. So this actually, I was expecting this to be with 5, but what I wanted to only do was look for short opportunities. So what I wanted to do the whole of last week was to look for short opportunities, anything that involves the USD. So I'm looking for short. So here, when price was also coming here, I was looking for short back into here to form the wave B. So this was actually my assumed A leg. I was expecting a B leg for a C leg. So when price actually broke down to this point here, I knew that I was wrong, and I got out of the trade here with some profit. I wait for another retracement area, and I got into a trade, and voila, till the end of the week. So that was awesome, and that was how I came into that trade there. And next, I'll be doing with this one, so I'll have to wait on larger time frame, possibly the larger one. So we can also identify certain structures, certain levels. All right, so if you look at this with the line chart, you can see that I ask myself many times if I'm taking it, will I be able to identify that I am wrong? Okay, so I ask myself those kind of questions. But also, what you can see here that this actually could also fit into the bill of a corrective wave of the three wave movement right there. You can see nicely how price is actually looking nicely for a wave A, B, C correction right here, and price can actually come in here, start a new wave up to this point here, and also drop later in the future. So definitely I don't know what is going to happen next. Okay, but for this one I think I'm going to keep looking for short opportunities until new price action actually develops. As I'm speaking right now, we can see that there is no signs, no trace of new price action developing. So we're going to keep on doing what the market is actually presenting to us, and also continue riding the market that way till we get into our desired time. So anything short here, I think I will basically wait for price to back into this structure. All right, so we move next into gold. Okay, so gold, I spoke about gold for a couple of reasons. Okay, so gold is nice here, checked out, but we got in early right here. Remember, I talked about gold in my pre-market analysis that gold is supposed to bounce off this point, and we can see that like gold bounce off this point. But when gold started doing this, I knew that what I wanted to see with gold was to see another info. But once price was able to come down this area, I knew that definitely something is wrong with gold. So I never traded the short aspect of gold. I don't want it to bounce here, even against the XAU USD, which I only wanted to sell anything with the USD right from here, but I didn't want to sell the gold. Okay, so gold was actually important for me to actually come in, buy here, and then come out. All right, so next, what's going to happen for gold? All right, so let me just quickly make this analysis and then show you what I think of gold in the nearest future. So with that said, we can also see that I spoke about these structures, these setups many of the times in the market, and whenever you see market actually coming to this point like this, and the reason why we wanted to take a bounce trade for that gold was when market actually dropped into the 61.8 deep level retracement level of this area here. I want to then long gold, but once gold was able to show me one of this that I'm wrong, waiting up there, and I knew that I want to get up journey and wait for new entries. So gold definitely is going down back into this region here. So nicely done, gold back into this region. So what I'm going to wait for in this week is going to wait for a little bit of retracement. Okay, retracement back into these structures there. Well, you know, never underestimate the market, because definitely I also look at other options and I ask myself what is happening here, when will I be wrong? Okay, so you can see that nicely that gold have not yet broken the key fifth region of retracement areas here, 61.8 inside of here, 3% inside of here. So gold can also still bounce back and continue, but definitely I see more bearishness in gold than the bullishness for now until gold back into testing key environment, which are these structures there, before we can look for another impulsive run for gold. All right, so if you happen to want to trade gold more, you can also identify that gold is actually in a bearish structure here, more of bearish structure here. Okay, so definitely we may be expecting that gold could actually be looking for a next leg, which is the A, B. Okay, so gold can actually be on its way into bouncing on the next leg, or right, gold can actually come in as an embedded head and shoulder here and then continue to the upside. So anything is possible when it comes to trading. I speak of this many of the time that trading involves being patient at one time, okay, and then waiting for opportunities to present itself. Okay, that's for gold. So if you are actually in love with the USD Mexican peso this one, okay, so you can be looking to take some few good trades with the USD Mexican peso. So you know, I talk about many of the times that price of the bounce instead of the future. So the USD Mexican peso is yet to form new highs. Yet to form new highs after this instead of there is yet to form new highs. So price can actually be coming in here and then dropping down back into this period. So also take note for that one, you don't need to be going long too long, so you will not get into trouble. Alright, with that said, we're waiting to do a market update on Tuesday. Remember, I do market update on Tuesday, and I show you what is actually happening in the market on Tuesday, and also on Thursday how market actually shaping up and shaping changes that actually happen in the market. I come in there to show you how to actually come in and then take those good trades and then make those profit. Alright, it's still your favorite forex guy, GVNFX, and also remember that this is GW Pro channel. Like, subscribe, drop your comment on what pay you want me to analyze next on my next video, and I'm sure glad to do that. Cheers, have a wonderful week ahead.